Good afternoon. I call this meeting to order. Today we'll consider 6 bills. In the interest of time, I will go directly to Senator Tester for any opening statement he may have on the bills we're considering.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I'd like to thank you for taking action on all the bills today and continuing this committee's pace and moving forward legislation that is important to any country. I want to say a few words about my native language bill before it's voted on by my colleagues. First, I want to thank my colleagues who have co-sponsored this bill with me. This bill's overreaching goal is to increase Native academic achievement through supporting Native full curriculum language immersion programs. We've heard from a number of Native language programs throughout the country who have already started on this path in their communities. Schools that operate entirely in Native language, teaching math, science, history, reading, everything in the language. They're seeing their students thrive both academically and socially. What they lack right now is not ambition and commitment, it is support. And although my bill may not be able to reach all Native languages with its limited funding, it is a good start. It shows Native American children that we value who they are just as much as we do their education. We held a hearing on this bill last Congress and heard from both the administration and tribes on how vital Native languages can be to Native students' success both inside and outside the classroom. Many of the recommendations that we received from stakeholders and the Department of Education have been incorporated into the bill we're considering today. I have filed one amendment that makes small clarifications. The amendment ensures that tribes have the full and final say in the teaching of their languages, while at the same time helping language program open their doors throughout Indian country with limited bureaucratic influence. So once again, I want to thank you for including this bill in today's agenda, and I look forward to moving forward with this important bill to the full Senate for consideration. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Tester. Would any other members of the committee like to make a statement regarding any? Senator Murkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to comment first on Senator Tester's bill. I think he knows as well as most in my state that I am a very, very, very strong proponent of the immersion programs, the Native immersion programs. We have some very big successes in my state. Senator Tester's bill provides grants for full language immersion programs and doesn't speak to partial language immersion. In Alaska, we have many successful programs that are partial immersion. This is different than what Senator Franken and I have been working on in the education bill, where we provide for grants for partial language immersion as well. So I just want to let Senator Tester know I'm going to be supporting your measure today, but I would like to work with you, and I think I don't want to speak for Senator Franken, but I'd like to make sure that we're able to harmonize these versions at some point in time, but know that I am a strong supporter of the language immersion that you're advancing. And if I may, very briefly, Mr. Chairman, on Senate Bill 1443, this is my legislation relating to the 477 program. I think it's one of the most innovative of federal Indian programs because it enables tribes to bundle employment and training funds from various agencies into a single seamless program and apply the funds to the challenges of putting Native people to work in a manner that actually works on the ground. The program has met with some objections because of basically the very stovepipe approach that we happen to take around here. The amendments that we're considering today cuts through the bureaucratic stovepipes to make the program work better. It is long awaited by Indian country. They have had task forces that have been working on this 477 program for so long. So I would hope that we would be able to advance this measure and finally and hopefully fully resolve this. So I appreciate the support of the committee.
Thank you, Senator Murkowski. Would any other members of the committee like to make a? Senator Udall.
Yeah, just very briefly, and let me say I also agree with Senator Murkowski on her statement about Senator Tester's bill. I think language immersion and language retention is something tremendously important in terms of our Native tribes, and I've worked on legislation over the years while I've been in the Congress. We are losing indigenous languages, if you look around the world or here in the United States, at a very, very rapid rate. And I think it's important we step out on a bill like this to try to make a difference. And so I'm fully supportive of it. Thank you, Senator Tester.
Thank you, Senator Udall. Any other members? Yes, Senator Langford.
Could I have the benefit of the chair to be able to ask a question, Senator Tester? Because I did have one basic concern, because I'm a big proponent of native languages as well. Obviously, multiple native languages that are spoken in my state. It's been one of those areas where they can protect some cultural identity, and it's been extremely important for passing on cultural identity to the next generation to be able to learn a language, most often from senior members of the tribe who are not only passing on language, but heritage as well to a new generation. The question I had was about funding in the process of it. It's a $5 million amount, and then in future years, such as may be necessary on it, were we able to achieve any kind of offsets or plan to how to actually be able to balance that out in the days ahead? Or how does this coalesce with other programs? Because there are several, including Senator Schatz brought a proposal to be able to do some studies on some of the native programs that we actually put in the elementary secondary bill that we put out as the Senate had good bipartisan agreement on. So trying to figure out how this coalesces with other programs and the funding aspect, how we actually handle that.
Well, if I might, Mr. Chair. Thanks for the question. This is authorization. This isn't the appropriations, which we can work on that one to find potential offsets on it. But I would just say that, look, I'm more than happy to work with, as far as getting everybody on the same sheet, Senator Schatz, Senator Murkowski, anybody who wants to work on this to get the job done. This doesn't directly. I don't have an offset, but I will tell you this. It is a proven fact, and it's why I offer this bill, that kids who study their native language, and I think immersion is most successful, but partial is important too, do better in school. They don't drop out as high a rate, and it is a very much a positive thing. I hope we can find the offsets for this, because quite frankly, I think it can do good things for kids in a part of in a part of our society, Indian country, that need help.
Right.
They need help, and education is a key to get out of poverty. So.
That's great.
Anyone else with an opening statement or comments? Now, with that, let's get to the bills at hand. We will now take up en bloc 3 bills, S-1443, the Indian Employment Training and Related Services Consolidation Act of 2015, introduced by Senators Murkowski and Sullivan. S-1761, a bill to take into trust the Susanville Indian Rancheria, introduced by Senators Boxer and Feinstein, and H.R. 387, the Economic Development Through Tribal Land Exchange Act, introduced by Representative Ruiz in the House of Representatives. Before we consider all these bills, would any member like to make any statement regarding any of these 3 bills? Hearing none, the bills no further statements, no amendments filed. Move to consider these bills in block. Do I have a second? Second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, no further discussion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and all 3 bills have passed. We'll now take up S-1419, the Native Language Immersion Student Achievement Act, introduced by Senator Tester. One amendment's been filed. This amendment was filed less than 48 hours in advance, so I ask for the concurrence of the Vice Chairman to take up this amendment at this time.
Yes.
Good. The bill would provide resources to promote tribal language immersion. Last Congress, the committee held hearings on a predecessor bill. It's also ordered favorably reported out of the committee in July of 2014 with the substitute amendment. No further. Senator Tester.
No, do you want me to offer the amendment?
If you may.
It's a substitute amendment on the bill that basically clarifies local education agencies rather than public schools. I think it better applies across the board. With that, I'll move the amendment.
Is there a second? And discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The amendment passes. Any addition? Senator Tester.
And then now we've got to move the bill, right?
Yes, sir.
I would move 1419.
Is there a second? Discussion? Hearing none, there being no further discussion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. In the opinion of the chair, one nay has been recorded. In the opinion of the chair, the bill as amended passes. Now move to take up 1436, the Nevada Native Nations Land Act. One amendment has been filed. This amendment was filed less than 48 hours in advance. Ask concurrence of the Vice Chairman to take up this amendment.
Yes.
This is a bill by Senator Reed and Senator Heller. The committee held a legislative hearing earlier this month. The bill will transfer 71,000 acres of public lands from the Bureau of Land Management and the U.S. Forest Service to 6 Nevada tribes. The transferred land would be held in trust by the United States for each tribe individually and would be added to the tribe's respective reservations. Any members like to make any statements relating to this legislation? Not. I am offering an amendment to S 1436 on behalf of Senators Heller and Reed. The amendment addresses issues raised by the Bureau of Land Management and the U.S. Forest Service. Move to consider the amendment. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Being none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. It does pass. Being no further amendments, I move the bill S 1436 as amended. Do I have a second? Discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? The opinion of the chair, the amendment passes. We now take up S 1822, a bill to take certain federal lands located in Tuolumne County, California, into trust for the benefit of the Tuolumne Band of the Wewak Indians and for other purposes. This was introduced by Senator Boxer. Committee held a legislative hearing October 7th, offering an amendment on behalf of Senator Boxer to address technical concerns raised by the Department of Interior. Would any members like to make a statement about this legislation or the amendment? Hearing none, and now consider the amendment. Is there a second? Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. The amendment passes. No further amendments. I move the bill S 1822 as amended that be passed. Is there a second? Discussion? Hearing none. There being no further discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? In the opinion of the chair, S 1822 as amended passes. I want to thank the members of the committee for help getting this business done in an expeditious manner. I ask unanimous consent staff be allowed to make technical and confirming changes. Being no objections or further business before the committee, the business meeting is adjourned.